Hello, I am Sean Gilbody, and welcome to Talk of the Devil, the weekly comedy panel show brought to you by the Lancaster University Comedy Institute, where my three guests will confront the wacky, alternative, and frankly strange news that's been hitting the middle of the papers over the past week. And with me today, I couldn't have asked for a better panel. My first guest is Lancaster's own Jack in the Box. It's Jack Marshall.
Oh.
As a child, did you hide off in boxes, or...?
Well, I hid as long as nobody was around, waiting for that key moment.
And then pop out, surprise them a little bit, have a bit of fun?
Well, depends how much you ran me up, to be honest.
It was quite awkward when he lived alone.
In that box.
He was in that box for a long time.
Committed to the role.
My next guest, he isn't a fighter, he isn't a lover, he just loves to dance. It's Ronnie Balmer.
Woo!
I'm not going to lie, your intro I came up with quickest, and I liked it, but oh well, what are you going to do? Finally, we have a newbie to the show, and I only have one question for him. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I don't know, but maybe Nick Woods does. Nick, how much?
A lot.
In my head, it depends. If it's a bonsai tree, you could chuck a lot of bonsai trees, but if it's, say, a great, massive tree, you're not going to get through the trunk quickly enough.
Nope. Definitely not. Definitely not. You're going to have to really hack at that bonsai tree. Isn't your surname Woods, not Wood? So
yeah,
it doesn't really work, Sean.
How much woods could a woods chuck if a woods chuck
you gotta
could
get
chuck woods?
I'm wood plural. That's what I am.
So we're about to start the show, but I know what you're thinking out there. How can I, the listener, get involved? Well, this week we are continuing our Listener of the Week competition for the listener who sends in the best message. So message in by using the box below the player and give your thoughts on the show's stories. I have just now prepared a question purely for the listeners. In the news this week, it has been announced that passive-aggressive Wi-Fi network names are on the rise in the UK. For example, one network was called We Can Hear You Having Sex, while another household chose to call those Stop Stealing My Papers. So I want to know what passive-aggressive acts our listeners commit when someone is rubbing them up the wrong way. You guys do anything passive-aggressive generally, or... I know Ronnie's a very angry person, but...
Well, I'm a statistician, but I don't really enjoy it all the time, so sometimes I do passive regression.
That is a great joke for all new mathematicians out there. And
yes, you heard it here first.
I'm not going to lie, Jack's starting the show with 2 extra points. I think we should now move on to our first round after all that nonsense and silliness. And it is the quotation investigation, where I will give our panellists a quote from a story this week, and they have to detract the rest of the story from it. So, my first quote. It could not have gone better today. It took about 15 minutes for them to swim, and we have a boat on either side to keep them together.
David Hasselhoff. Must be.
Unfortunately, it's not David Hasselhoff. Where would he swim from?
I don't know, he was in that new Piranha movie. I thought maybe he did that as a quote.
Other Piranha franchises are available, I believe. One for the producers there. Any other ideas?
Can you repeat the quote, just...
Sorry.
Give it one more shot.
It could not have gone better today. It takes about 15 minutes for them to swim, and we have a boat on either side to keep them together.
Now, what would you be keeping together? So there's more than one of these things. Are they like confused dolphins that haven't got the hang of swimming?
Not. You're thinking too inside the box, unfortunately. Then you wouldn't normally see this creature in the water.
Okay, so this is more like a mammal or...
Dogs.
Not dogs, no, it's not like a dog.
Dogs are usually quite happy. Well, cats, so they're swimming cats, so these cats trying to sort of...
The only cats that like water. They're trying to raise the profile of water-loving cats, aren't they?
Yeah, aqua cats.
Have you ever seen a cat try to, have you ever thrown a cat into, water?
Unfortunately not.
Well, I did it when I was younger.
In a bag?
No, it wasn't in a bag. I wasn't as dark like that.
Does that count as passive-aggressiveness?
Yeah. I think that's just...
Or is that just killing cats?
There's no passivity there.
No, but there's no way. You're never going to get a cat to swim. It's the funniest sight. Throw a cat into a pond, believe me, you will not regret the sight that you see.
We're not going to advise our listeners to do that, but if you want to, we'll turn a blind eye.
Do not
Were there
encourage
elephants?
cats.
Something quite heavy?
Not encouragement, just
you're closer. It was something quite heavy.
Like a bear or...
Jack, I'm going to give you a point because you'll get close enough. It was in fact a cow.
Oh, wow.
A whole herd of cows. A crofter, which I think is someone who takes care of cows, I'm not certain, successfully swum his cows across the sea to their island grazing ground for the winter. Ian MacDonald is thought to be the last person in Scotland to move his animals this way. His 19 cows took around 15 minutes to swim approximately 100 metres from Skye to nearby Statfin Island, where they will graze for 3 months.
Oh, that's brilliant.
It's a great idea.
So they're trying to sort of glom onto the manatees sort of...
Yeah, well,
gig.
They are now the sea cows of the sea.
Oh, I'm amphibious cows.
They are just jealous of all the attention manatees are
Do you
getting.
think there's like military implication to this? Could we utilise these sort of commando cows?
What would you do? They wouldn't be very subtle, though, in my head.
I think cows are quite subtle. You wouldn't be expecting
You wouldn't expect
armed
it,
cows.
but it did take them 15 minutes to go 100 metres.
I don't know. I think some of our best comedians couldn't match that. That's quite a good pace.
Well, that's true, but I don't know if that's saying a good thing for the cows or the comedians.
I think the comedians need to sort of up their game.
They do.
We're quite an unfit bunch.
They do. When we tried that triathlon, we lost 3.
Yeah.
But oh well.
We're not very good in the water. That's why we always test water with cats to make sure that the...
Okay, next quote. Earlier on today, a woman rang the BBC to say she'd heard there was a hurricane on the way. Well, if you're watching, don't worry, there isn't.
BBC spokesperson.
Well done, Ronnie. It was someone from the BBC.
Other networks are available.
True. Maybe not as good as BBC. They're having some quality programming on. But anyway.
Was it Michael Fish Jr.? Was this sort of like a generational...
Well, Jack has basically got it. It wasn't Michael Fish Jr., it was Michael Fish himself.
Again?
Basically, what's happened this week is everyone knows about his infamous Great Storm blunder 25 years ago. Well, he's made a new TV commercial where basically he does the same thing again, apart from he corrects himself this time. And that's the whole advert. So in the clip, he warns residents in the south of the country to stay indoors because we're in for quite a night. And after thanking an anonymous caller for the warning, Fish walks off set, adding, well, that could have been embarrassing. He's finally got it right over all these years. I mean, Michael Fish isn't the most popular character. Out of all the weathermen, where would you put him, Nick?
I'll put him right at the top, actually.
Really?
I think he's got guts to hold his ground against an entire nation that believed that there was a hurricane.
I don't know, I wouldn't believe there's a hurricane if I heard it on the weather today. If you went, no, just get out from wherever you are, just go and stay inside. Would you say, oh yeah, there's definitely a hurricane?
Don't know, probably not, because, well, you never listen to anything on TV. I never remember the weather anyway.
Yeah,
I always find that I'll watch it, and then I think, well, I know I watched the weather this morning before I went to school, but I've just forgotten anyway.
Yeah, fair enough.
Whenever I hear a hurricane's on the way, I wonder why a cartoon football player from the 90s is coming to see me. I'm old.
That is a very old reference. I kind of want you to explain it now, though.
Hurricanes was a TV show about a fictional football team, and they'd end up just playing like football against teams that wouldn't be in any sort of regulation sort of club. Like they played against a team full of vampire football.
Vampires are people too, Jack.
They're not people, they're vampires. They're not humans, they're vampires.
Does that have to be a night match?
No. Funnily enough, the whole thing was just an intimidation shtick.
They're really easy opponents, I imagine, if it's a day game.
They were drinking tomato juice to make them think that they're drinking blood. They invited them to like their dressing rooms were like inside like a Transylvanian castle, and they were just like too scared to play them. But to be honest, like if you're playing football, like a vampire's not going to do much to you. Like when the referee's there, I'm sure like it would be a red card to drink blood from somebody.
Oh, certainly. I think if you spill blood on the pitch as well, you have to go off. One final quote. York's residents should feel very proud to live in the home of such a beautiful and well-preserved piece of industrial history.
Are people living in a converted... what's going to be, like a steel mill or a coal
unfortunately
processing
not.
plant or something?
No one's living in anywhere. It's just there's something in York that they should be proud of. I'm going to say that.
Oh, okay.
So any ideas?
The list, it's not going to be very long.
There's plenty of things to be proud of in York.
Digging
Oh,
in
come
York.
on. York's a lovely place. They've got the Minster, which is a lovely little place. You can see it from almost anywhere in the city. That's very lovely. But
Got a railway museum.
they've also got that guy who comes on a Saturday and does performances with fire and balloons and bouncy balls. He's quite good. He's a piece of history. He's been there for at least 5 years.
Do you work for the Tourism Board of York, Jack?
No.
And Sunday we have...
Other cities are available.
And Jack has scarpered from the room. Unfortunately not. I'm trying to think of a way to make this a bit easier. What they're looking for has been described... They basically found a Holy Grail gyratory. So, does anyone understand what that means?
A Holy Grail gyratory, so that is like where somebody had quested to find the Holy Grail, or is it...
Yeah, they tried to find the Holy Grail gyratory, which was... basically, they tried to find the best something in somewhere. They found it in York. But what is the best something is my question, really.
It sounds like gyrate. Obviously, something's sort of spinning around. Is it how you prepare the water for the Holy Grail, or is it
Unfortunately, not.
or to shake the Holy Grail once water's been inside to sort of decant it?
Really old centrifuge.
Yeah.
Just for, like, working the water up.
Unfortunately, you're getting really close. You got the right idea, but they found Britain has found its favourite roundabout.
Like a park roundabout.
No.
What? Which one spins the fastest? Or
Yeah, like basically you put your kids on the gyratory, but there's a Holy Grail in the middle. So basically the kids are trying to get to immortality, but the parents are spinning them so fast that they can't get to it.
It's a challenge. You would have thought that the parents, if anything, would try and slow it down to let their kids be immortal, but
The thing is, though, it's
In
passive
Yorkshire,
aggressiveness.
they want to raise their kids tough. You will spin and you will spin fast.
Because basically 8 parents take 8 kids and put them on the roundabout, and they all spin as fast as they can in the hope that their child has got enough spin resistance to get to the Holy Grail first. That's Yorkshire for you, man.
that's why it has such a high life expectancy as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, because of the immortality water.
That would give you a pretty good life expectancy.
And just to
We're immortal.
clarify, I'm not working for the York Tourism Board. You will not live forever.
No, we're
Wink, wink.
That is the end of our first round, so we will quickly move on to our second round, called Funny 'Cause It's True, where I will read my guests 3 news stories, 2 of which my writing team and I have made up, and they must determine which one is true. So my first story for you guys. Slash donates hair to a waxworks museum. In leaked details of Slash's will, this week it has been revealed that the legendary rock star has donated his hair to Madame Tussauds in Washington, D.C. By doing this, he is following in the footsteps of Eartha Kitt and Mickey Rooney, who have also impersonations at the museum. Head sculptor Harry Bencher commented, "Slash is already one of our star attractions, but we're extremely excited that we're actually going to have a real piece of him here with us," while later saying, "In this line of work, every little detail counts." Anyone like that story at all? Any thoughts?
I think this is plausible so far. My one question is this a head sculptor as in the boss, or is he the head sculptor?
Yeah, I think he is in terms of the boss, but I like the pun work that we've done there.
Because, I mean, would you have a head sculptor? And does that imply that there's a spine sculptor and an ankle sculptor?
I should have researched this more. Well, an ankle sculptor, they have quite an easy job, don't they? I reckon they can get away with just doing 2 types, a large ankle and a small ankle.
Yeah, but if you get the ankles wrong, it really shows. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen this one sculpture where the ankle is just like a spike, like on a Wacky Races car. It's just horrible.
Was that the dungeon thingy? Yeah, unfortunately.
People were tripping over it and everything.
Yeah, it's quite painful. I
Bursting
heard.
their tyres, trying to get to the end of the race.
So I think that's another story, maybe. Senator plans to merge Carolinas. Awaiting Puerto Rico's decision to become a state, one hopeful senator-to-be has come up with a creative decision to keep 50 stars on the banner. Republican candidate Bill Anderson, who is running for Senate in Iowa, has announced that he plans to propose a bill to merge North and South Carolina if Puerto Rico elects to become a state. Mr. Anderson, a rising star of the Tea Party, claims that it would be simply un-American to change the flag, and he quotes that it would be spitting in the face of centuries of American history. Ronnie?
I thought that they were just going to merge 2 people called Carolina.
Caroline.
Thought they were just going to surgically attach them.
Kind of like the opposite of a Siamese twin, detached. They're trying to diversify their business, the surgeons.
I don't know, I feel like it's a bit petty to sort of try and keep the number of stars a constant. I mean, they've got 13 stripes to represent, like, the original sort of union, and then they've got, like, these stars, which says to me that there were these extra 37 or so states that they waited to count, and then they're like, you know what, we should put some stars on this thing.
I don't know.
How did that even come about? I need a historian.
The 50 stars of banners. Yeah, well, email in if you know anything more than us, because I don't know too much about
If
it.
there's a historian out there tearing their hair out, I'm sorry, my knowledge of American history is poor at best.
No, Nick, what do you think? Could you see
I
that
think
happening?
that that's good for people who make flags. I
Yeah,
think
it's
that
good for
if they have to change the amount, so I think they should keep it, and then if Puerto Rico becomes a state, that means that people making flags will be able to sell a lot of flags to a lot of people because of the new star.
But wouldn't 51 look awkward to you? Like, you just have one
I
randomly
don't
dotted
count the amount of stars on a regular basis.
You should do, Nick. It's my
should.
favourite pastime.
If they want to keep the same number of states, why not just say no to Puerto Rico? Why not just go, no, we've got our states, those are the states.
I just thought, right, what do senators have against the flag industry? Because they don't let them burn any flags in America. That's considered a crime in many places.
Yeah.
And that would only just help the flag industry boom. But no, they were trying to keep the working man down.
Is that how Obama wants to get the economy back up? Is by
Can you
through
imagine?
the flag industry?
I mean, I've been to America a few times, and pretty much every front garden has a pole or a flag in the window or something. And if people were allowed to burn them or had to change them to keep up with the current trends, the flag industry alone would take America ahead of the Chinese, because the Chinese haven't changed their flag in years.
Plus, you'd know which
Too
flag
stubborn.
to burn.
Yeah.
You'd know which flag to burn if that were the case, because you just burn the old ones now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, just got to count.
You don't have to choose now.
I mean, we're not impacting the environmental effects of all this flag burning, but still, I think that also means that we should move on to our third story. This is show misled by sperm banker hoax. Sperm banks hoaxer.
It's that Cockney Rami slang.
Yeah.
Not very subtle, but a sperm banker.
That's what I say about my sort of friends in town. Like, I call them a bit of a sperm bank hoaxer. That's just how we call them.
Ronnie, I've given you so many points. ITV show This Morning has said it was deliberately misled by a hoaxer who claimed to have set up a celebrity sperm bank. It ran an interview earlier in the week with a self-styled businessman called Dan Richards, who said his firm, Fame Daddy, would match up women with donors, including professional sportsmen and millionaire musicians. On Wednesday, host Philip Schofield told viewers an investigation had been launched into the story. On Thursday, an ITV spokeswoman said, "We obviously always make every effort to ensure the legitimacy of all the many stories which we feature on This Morning, as well as the authenticity of its guests."
So they called this sperm bank Fame Daddy.
Fame Daddy.
Why wouldn't you just call it Who's the Daddy?
My pen is wavering whether I add one or take one away, Ronnie.
It's a solid. It's a good question in my eyes.
Who's the Daddy would be greater, and
Really
also
use the
that's a
bomb.
new. In 20 years' time, they also have a free panel show where they just bring on celebrities who are possibly the dad, and then we can have a Mamma Mia type situation. There you go,
Other
ITV.
films are available.
And Broadway hits.
Musicals. Other
Musicals.
sort of Italian slang phrases.
Other restaurants.
There's a lot of. Let's just assume
It's
there's
a very, very generic
Other
phrase.
Mamma Mia's are available.
Yeah, so I did pick up on something when you said that they were trying to test the authenticity of everything that has been said. They have to actually take some of the sperm and dip their sort of finger in it, have a little taste. Like, that tastes like Andy Murray. This stuff's legit, this stuff's pure.
Taste of haggis and anger.
Stop confusing us with your technical science stuff, Jack.
Science.
just to check, everyone gets that it's a fake company, don't they? Fame Daddy isn't a real thing. It's not that the sperm is fake, but the actual company itself.
Imagine if the company itself was fake.
That's what it. Yeah.
Then any sperm that they may or may
I
not
like the
produce.
thought of people being born from fake sperm.
Well, artificially seminated. I don't see what's wrong with that, Ronnie.
You're not my dad.
Yeah,
My
but
dad doesn't exist.
it's inseminated with real sperm. It's just artificial.
You're saying this is a fake company that doesn't actually have any sperm. It's just going to be lots of sort of heavily diluted icing sugar, just sort of.
Tell you what.
dishes.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah,
listeners,
That's a great idea.
Tell you what, listeners. What other shows do you get such in-depth insemination talk?
And we can tell someone's been watching some late night movies, Nick.
No,
You knew how to make some artificial sperm there, my friends.
I'm in bed very early.
Just take some buttons.
Lectures, obviously.
Just take a button, bit of string, dip the whole thing into some milk and leave it. There you go. No one will know the difference.
And I move on to the end of this round by asking which one do our contestants believe it's true. Just remind you of the three stories. We have Slash donates hair to a waxworks museum, Senator plans to merge Carolinas, and show misled by sperm bank hoaxer. So I'm going to ask Ronnie first. Which one do you believe is true?
I'm going to go with Slash donates his hair.
Nick?
I'm going to go with the Carolina one, because only in America would you try and do that just for the sake of keeping 50 stars.
But
Nice.
it's as I say, if you're going to try and keep 50 states, just say no to additional states. It's a daft way
Say
to
no
go
to
about
Puerto Rico.
keeping the number.
What do you have against Puerto Rico, Ronnie? Let's bring this out now.
Live.
And Jack, what do you think is the true story?
Oh, I'm torn, but I think I'm gonna go with the Carolina merges.
Okay.
I think that's passive aggressiveness towards Puerto Rico.
Yeah, Ronnie's quite passive aggressive generally, though, so you can't really tell the difference.
It's more towards the committee that decide that they want to keep 50 states in a stupid manner.
Tell you what, Ronnie, like, if we're wrong, then you're right. Puerto Rico will never become an American state. That's the bet. That's what's at stake.
There we go.
Well, I can't believe this has happened again, but everyone's wrong.
Oh, wow.
Show misled by sperm bank hoaxer.
I can't believe we broke this story on Talk of the Devil.
I feel that we didn't break it because I thought it was quite a big story this week, actually.
I must have missed it.
Yeah, basically this guy who was an actor just came on and made up a company and talked to Holly Willoughby and Philip Schofield for about 10 minutes about his company.
Well done, writers team, if you're listening.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
You did very well.
So far, no one has got that one right, so no one gets any bonus points. We've got some messages in, which is true for once. And this first message, it's from Michael, who's done something a bit passive-aggressive, and it says, "Just throw a cat into a pond, thanks for the tip." Can I please reinstate that's not passive-aggressive? And please stop throwing cats into a pond.
Well, basically, when I'm fighting Gilbody with Meowth, I've got no choice but to throw my cat into some water.
That is a very good... I'll enjoy the Pokemon reference for Goldeen, who was one of my favourites.
Underrated.
Underrated, that's how I describe it.
Smash Brothers really let him down.
Japanese hit shows / turning into a card game things are available.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's plenty of those.
There's plenty of them. Yu-Gi-Oh! You know.
I'll just name more.
Name them all.
Say that again.
Let's just keep throwing out more brands. That's an excellent solution to this issue.
I don't know, by the way. Ronnie's like the producer of the show. He's on this week, so he has to watch what I say. A quick roundup of the scores at the moment. Unfortunately, Nick is in last place, and he is on 15 points. He's still doing well. And then it goes to Ronnie, who's on 17, and Jack is in the lead on 19.
Ooh,
so it is all to play for. Last week, the winning score was 26, so, you know, you're well past them already. And this is about to be the highest point-scoring round. It is Felix Baumgartner's Leap of Faith. Woo! What a great name. Oh, that's so much. I should have... Nick, you're getting a lot of points.
The scores have just changed drastically.
And now Ronnie's in last place. Anyway, basically the question was, what record should Felix break next after all the records he broke when he fell from a very high height? And I think I will go with Jack first. Do you have any ideas what record?
Yes, okay. So he needs to get somebody else in with him on this. It's going to be a team effort. It's not really his style, I don't think, but I think what Felix should do next is go for the world's fastest high five. So basically, not too much different from his sort of record-breaking feat. This time he jumps out, and this time he just needs to give somebody the biggest high five coming up, preferably with a jetpack, because the faster they're going up, the faster he's going down, the better the impact will be.
So he still has to drop as well, which obviously he's already good at.
Yeah, he's pretty much got that one down. He can get the speed up, but the problem is that it really has to be a one-shot thing, because generally both of these men are going to lose their arms in this process. Also, you need to make sure that they don't behead each other, because an inch either way,
miss, and then it's gone.
It's a clothesline, basically. Both men lose their heads. And also they'll need to have really good sort of footage, because I think the people who are in charge of these records are very particular about what counts as a high five, and you really need to make sure that 4 fingers touch 4 fingers.
Oh, definitely. I assume they count that and they'll have a slow motion camera to check everything's okay.
Yeah, and you think about the practical issue of this, I mean, as far as I'm aware, Felix was wearing some sort of spacesuit type thing. I don't think having a hand in a sort of a metal plastic sort of casing really counts as a high five. We'll have to make sure that his hand...
Oh, it does have to be a clean hand?
Has to be completely unsheathed, yeah.
Would it also... It could also, therefore, break the prize for the loudest clap ever, surely.
Yeah, that'll be a sonic
that.
boom. That would be, like, the best high five ever. They also need to try, optionally, to try and get, like, a big banner with, like, stars coming out from the epicenter of the high five.
That would...
50 of them exactly.
It would make a great T-shirt, just seeing, like, the moment just afterwards where their arms are both just sort of severed off. And they've both got the biggest smiles on their faces.
Oh, so many points, Jack, so many points.
Oh, well, thank you.
I'd find it good if they did actually break that record for the fastest high five, and then to celebrate they go...
No. What's the point? They don't get the satisfaction of the high five.
For the sake
after
of the
that.
listeners, actually, I'm just going to go. I went to gesture for a high five and then turned it down because I realised that was an entirely visual joke on a radio show.
Yeah, well, that's generally the problem with those visual jokes. Nick, I'm going to ask what your idea is next.
I think that he should do the same stunt again, but this time without a parachute, and they can break more records if he is then slowed down by a giant trampoline at the bottom of the jump. So he's done this however fast he's going down, wherever. It slows down when he hits the kind of normal atmosphere.
The trampoline and then the ground.
Yeah, well, no, because then Red Bull can have the...
other drinks,
fizzy drinks and caffeine-based
F1
products
teams,
and stuff. So he hits this trampoline, but it's the biggest trampoline that will ever have been constructed. And then on the rebound, he will then have the highest trampoline jump of all time.
That is excellent.
So he's got about 3 or 4 new records in one jump.
Everyone's thought through these really well,
including having the largest metaphorical pair of testicles known to man. I think as well. We have to acknowledge that record.
You get so many records at once if you just did like a seat drop, then a front drop, then a flip. You could just be raking them in.
You do realise that he wouldn't have the record for the largest trampoline because the person that constructed it will have already constructed it before he tries the record. I certainly hope so, because they're not building it while he's in free fall.
That's
an element of danger.
Or he has to sort of like assemble it himself in free fall.
Fastest construction of
throw it down
a trampoline.
To the ground.
I assume it has to be bigger than one country as well, surely, if it's got to be. Or is it just about height that you're looking for in terms of the trampoline? Because when he hits it, it's going to go down. He's going to go down a far way. That trampoline's going to bend.
I think the more worrying thing is the rate of deceleration when he hits that trampoline. It's going to be unbelievable.
60 whale stomachs just sort of glued together in a
It's just going to be in very square pieces.
Yeah, you know, I mean, on trampolines they have this tiny little hole, so it's just he's going to be like mince, basically, when he comes out.
You need to make sure it's the right type of trampoline, because some of them are like in those sort of cross-hatch sort of...
Oh, no, you don't want that. You're just going to go straight through it.
You don't want basically a Felix Baumgartner cheese string. You don't want that.
So his record
General rule of the show.
Fastest mincing of a human being.
I think we've set a precedent on Talk to the Devil. We don't want human tree strings if at all possible.
Yep. Nick, you have so far got 8 more points in this round than you did for the rest of the show.
Yay.
And we move on to Ronnie's idea.
Well, I've got a couple of ideas. First of all, I want sort of to relate them to free fall. I want him to go for the cheapest, highest free fall. So he starts taking off. Continues to do it again whilst taking off the kit. So he goes, how much of this do I really need? The helmet, okay, that's necessary. But do I need these shoes, for example? So cost cutting.
So he's not allowed to wear his iPod this time.
Yeah. I'd like him to also go for the lowest free fall, which is in effect stumbling.
I don't think that'd be so hard to measure.
So that if he has the highest and the lowest free fall, everyone's mediocre by that standard.
So he needs to deploy his parachute at an atomic scale to earn this award. He needs to actually shrink himself down to the size of a proton.
In effect,
and then
yes.
Jump off an electron towards a proton and deploy his parachute.
Ignoring the records that has already been broken for turning a man into a proton.
Willy Wonka style.
No,
or the longest toenails.
I'll just go for that.
Just one in the top.
Just that one, yeah.
Longest toenails in free fall.
I want to just write down longest toenails for yours, Ronnie, when I think about it later. Those were 3 amazing ideas, and overall I gave out 68 points in that round.
Oh, bonanza.
Which is ridiculous.
Everything else that's gone
But
before.
I'm sorry, that was possibly my favourite round ever of that middle round.
What's my favourite, Felix?
What's your Felix Baumgartner round, guys? Ronnie, I'm sorry, but I don't like the idea of lowest jump, even if you manage to get a guy smaller enough to be a proton. Trampoline or the high... I like the idea of the high five and then the Star Spangled Banner coming out from it, so that's an extra 3 points. So it's all to play for still, unless you're Ronnie. This is our final round now, and it's going to be called Mind the Gap, which is where I give the panellists a headline with one word missing from it, and they have to guess what it is. So first headline: what pastries are a web hit?
Spider.
No. I think in your heart of hearts you knew that wasn't the answer, but it was a good comedy.
I don't know, maybe they were commenting on the Halloween pastries that had...
No, well played, yeah, good point. Any other ideas?
If we're going Halloween, I'd say pumpkin.
Oh no, there's nothing to do with Halloween, that was
Gangnam
just Jackson.
pastries?
Oh god. No, I'm taking I5 for that, actually.
Oh, come on.
I hate that song with a passion. But I have the point sheet.
Virtual pastries.
Virtual pastries, nice idea, Ronnie, but you're not getting any points. I'll give you 1. I'm going to be really harsh and give you just 1 point. It's more of an adjective.
Tasty.
It's more of a mood. It's more of... Ronnie's back in. Ronnie's on 50 points. It's more of a mood. Any hints?
Emo pastries?
Emo, you both kind of said it at the same time. It's melancholic pastries are a web hit.
Okay, can you describe what a melancholic
what is
pastry
melancholic?
might be?
I'm going to read the story, and you should understand it after I read it.
Before we go into the story, I'd like to point out that on a comedy panel show, we asked two comedians to say an emotion, and we both went for sad. That is pretty depressing.
But also pretty predictable. Comedians aren't as happy as we seem on stage, on radio.
Don't talk to us off stage. Anyway, the story is, with the Great British Bake Off at an end, it seems the melancholy felt by the nation is beginning to affect the pastry world, with an image of sad-looking pain au chocolat becoming an online hit. Ben Horsley, whose sadness of pain au chocolat has become a hit on Twitter. He says, my colleague Matthew Packer was up against a particularly hot pain au chocolat for lunch. From where I was sitting, I couldn't help but think it looked like the world's saddest pastry. It just needed a mouth. Next stop, Google and Photoshop.
It's probably the only time you can get away with saying, it just needed a mouth. And then the ensuing actions being okay with absolutely everyone.
I feel like this could get into dodgy territory, but...
That's not what was thought when Frankenstein was being created.
Was it a protest pasty, sort of, against the sort of
it was
pasty
just,
tax?
If I'll show you guys the pictures later, but basically it's just a pastry, and it's got two little chocolate bits on the side of it, which look like eyes, and then it draws a mouth quite crudely on it, just like one line, so it looks quite sad.
Does it have like a chocolatier?
Sometimes there probably is one with a chocolatier. I
like
think
a sort of a mishap.
Also, it's a bit of a pun because chocolatier.
Chocolatier, very good. Give yourself a point there, Sean.
One.
It's not even nearly as political as you were on about, Jack, when you talk about the past tax. It's just someone who goes, that looks quite sad.
Now, Ronnie, there is a pun here on pain au chocolat and about it being sad. If you get it, I'll give you an extra point.
Well, pan is spelled P-A-I-N.
Pain. Yeah.
I got there first.
I'll give
I
a
was
point.
just explaining it.
I'm going to give a point to Nick for not saying it out loud. I tricked you into that one, Ronnie.
Oh, that was a pun trap. Sean, you devious labyrinth dungeon master.
Does anyone know what pain in French means?
Bread.
Exactly. At the end of this article it says, he added, I think pain au chocolat are sad because pain au chocolat translate roughly into English as the pain of the chocolate, which he's got completely wrong.
That's very good English-French right there.
Let's have a look.
Well, you'd probably still get a decent GCSE in French for that. It's quite easy.
Criticism of the GCSE system. There you go, language is a
alright,
GCSE.
it's changing.
Okay, next one. Jeweler offers free watch to engagement ring buyers.
Now, is this a jeweller, as in someone who fights?
I thought you genuinely said jeweller offers watch to engagement ring buyers. I was like, where's the gap? He's just buy an engagement ring, get a free watch.
If you can beat this man or woman in combat, they will marry you or be your priest.
It's a bit of medieval, but unfortunately I said jeweller, as in someone who sells jewellery.
So they offer something for free.
Offers something for free, yeah. Any ideas?
On the condition that they...
But they have to buy an engagement ring.
3-year receipt guarantee.
The accountant is coming out in Ronnie here. No, it only comes with a store purchase of over 1,240 quid. English pounds. In America, it's 2,000.
Sofa for your new home?
No, that's too sensible. Something Americans love.
Guns.
Yeah.
Oh, that was...
That's sad that that's the first thing that
Don't
comes.
give me points for that. That was a cheap shot.
Hey.
I didn't mean that.
I think that's another 10-point pun.
I think Ronnie can get some more points for that. Just for having puns built into his soul so deeply that he can't help making them.
Okay, anyone got... Quickly, this article starts with a pun. Any ideas for a wedding with a gun involved? Any puns?
A shotgun wedding.
Yeah, Ronnie gets an extra 5 points. How is he winning?
The idea of a gunshot wedding. Just like, as they're walking down the aisle, bang, 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 like...
A Western style wedding.
Smith and Western style.
It's like Kill Bill, basically.
Other films are available.
Other films. Yeah. Better Quentin Tarantino ones, definitely. Bringing a new meaning to the term shotgun wedding, a US jeweller is offering free rifles to husbands-to-be who buy their engagement rings at his store near Iowa City. Jeweller Harold Van Beek at Jewelry by Harold in North Liberty, Iowa, said he wanted to do something for the boy who doesn't like to hunt for diamonds, but likes to hunt for deer.
Dear wives?
Just deer, is it? I like the idea of just, you think, no one wants them to get married, they just want deer.
I like this story because in the last term when we were doing Funny Because It's True, I wrote a fake story in which a man proposed to his wife by pointing a shotgun at her, and attached to the shotgun was a string, attached to the string was a wedding ring. So it's not even a fake story, it's a predictive one.
Soothsayer Ronnie.
I'm going to give him extra points for that still. Okay.
Literally, like, when you read that out fully, literally both meanings of the word jeweler, like, made
They still make sense.
It's great.
Okay, next one. Jamie Oliver, stop stealing my what? It's something Jamie Oliver said. He said, stop stealing
Why
my
is
what?
Jamie Oliver's colon talking? Stop stealing my
Is it Jamie
tissue.
Oliver? Stop stealing my ideas. Love from Bono or something. You know, to save the world, basically.
Oh, that's harsh, but I enjoy the fact that you criticise Jamie Oliver. Unfortunately not. It's something a bit more petty.
Stop stealing my vegetables.
No, too obvious.
It's a hat.
No, still not.
People just nicking off with his stuff.
No, it's more at his restaurant. People are stealing things that you wouldn't want to get stolen.
Stealed.
I'll steal you. To me, that sounds like the verb to hit someone with a steel bar.
My chairs, my tables.
No.
Soul.
I don't feel anyone's getting to it
Are they
soon.
stealing his catchphrases?
Still no. What is Jamie Oliver's
Yeah, what does he
catchphrase?
have?
Apart from being naked.
You're a
Basically,
horrible person.
Let's just throw these ingredients into this cycle helmet, although that's a bit dated.
What?
Oh yeah, they should stop stealing his clothes, exactly, because he wants to be naked voluntarily,
Oh, I like the idea, but
not by force.
Naked chat.
it's still not. But it's actually loo handles. Jamie Oliver says a spate of thefts at his restaurant chain. This is what he said. Some people were coming out for a meal and going home with half a toilet, he said. Jamie Oliver has been forced to secure the lavatory fittings in his restaurants because customers keep stealing them, which
They
sounds...
just change the
Did you
toilets.
know he's called the police into this one, and the police are pretty sure that soon enough they'll be able to flush out the criminals.
Oh, Ronnie, that's lost you a couple of points. I'm going to write...
That was a good pun.
That
They
wasn't...
need to
that
develop a
wasn't
better
Ronnie.
security system.
You just don't like toilet humour.
Oh, no, that's 10 points off
no
Jack as
way.
well.
I was worth it to get the system put out there.
No, they've also been stealing 30,000 napkins each month. That is a lot of napkins. This is well planned.
Struggle
It's
to
not
wipe the
per
slate clean
person.
on that, won't we?
That's not per person, by the way. The one person is not stealing 30,000 napkins every
Each month per person. There's one person just goes there every month to steal napkins, and that does them.
To try and make his origami army, or his origami...
Oh, if you didn't do the pun, I would have given you the points.
He's given you points and taken them all
Okay,
away.
double standard here. Ronnie's earned 15 points in the last 2 minutes for terrible puns that you fed him. I've been coming up with my own home brew.
I took off 15 points of Ronnie, to be fair.
Okay, I'm back. I'm fair.
Next one. What cancels Battle of Hastings amid health and safety fears?
Victory several centuries ago.
Well, defeat. I'm a patriot. Like. I still feel bitter about that whole thing.
Well, you always a bit of a Harold man. Was it Harold who lost?
Harold Godwinson.
Harold Godwinson. Good
Harold
knowledge.
Rada coming from Norway with Canute, and then obviously William the Conqueror coming
yeah.
backwards and forwards. So.
I like it. Thank you for that, Jack.
Yeah, there we go. Awesome.
Polite email.
Polite email, unfortunately not. Nick, any ideas?
Say it again.
What cancels Battle of Hastings amid health and safety fears?
I
General.
don't know. Yeah.
Master of Ceremonies.
General.
Yeah. It's like a role play. It could be enactment. And
Yeah,
the
it's a,
fields are like-
it's a reenactment.
No,
but-
Jack, there's going to be another Battle of Hastings.
I don't know. Like, I think we're getting
Could
in a
be.
situation where a real Battle of Hastings could take place. I think the country's in unrest. You know, the economy's failing. The cuts are affecting people.
So the only way out of this mess is by going
medieval
to...
warfare. People can't even afford guns.
Is it like is it a man from Birmingham with a high-vis vest on? Have you never noticed that when you sort of say health and safety? When you talk about health and safety,
Everyone
if
just
you do a
imagine-
Brummie accent. So, oh yeah, we talk about health and safety. Like that.
For the accent, you're getting extra points
You
as well.
can't put that over there. It's really dangerous. It's behind the door, isn't it? No, you can't be having that. And them smoke detectors aren't working at the moment.
You actually got 10 points for an impression.
Other accents are available.
As Ronnie has just displayed. The answer was actually rain. Rain cancels Battle of Hastings amid health and safety fears. It wasn't really a funny answer, but it was a good question. Last question, and then this is going to end the show, unfortunately. I know we're all gutted. Blaze destroys 52-foot what?
Forest.
As in, do you mean as in wide or tall?
A bit of both, really.
it
It was
a-
square.
is it wrong
anyway?
Perfectly square.
That would be a very haunting story if I did that on this comedy
Is
panel show.
blazes in a fire, or is blazes in my mate?
It's Jack.
He's quite a wild one.
I also get the
Unfortunately
nickname
not.
Blaze.
Nope. Any other guesses?
Fire safety advertisement.
Nope. The irony was not.
52-foot man from Birmingham in a high-vis vest. I think.
Oh, I'll give you 2 points because I just enjoyed the impression so much.
Tower of Beef?
No, it's kind of American.
A Tower of Grits.
It's not a Tower of Grits, but it's not a food anything. It's
Statue of Liberty?
Oh, you're getting closer. It's a
Monument, War Memorial.
I don't think anyone's going to get it because you're very close, but it is basically a monument. It's Blaze destroys 52-foot Texas cowboy.
My mate travels a lot and he does a lot of damage in America. I don't know why he does these things. He's a vandal.
Blaze is getting you a lot of points, Jack.
I'm going to disown him as a friend. Publicly now.
Big Tex, a 52-foot, which is 16 metres in for you new boys, tall cowboy who watched over the Texas State Fair for 60 years, has been destroyed by a fire. The flames quickly engulfed Big Tex's statue, leaving behind little more than a charred metal belt. He was famed for his 75-gallon hat and 50-pound belt buckle, and was a popular meeting spot for fairgoers. So that's quite sad, but that's what's happened in the news this week. That's the end of the show. Given so many points and taken so many away, I'm going to ask my panellists to fill in some noise and talk to each other for a little bit while I add up the scores for a quick second.
So, do you think Sean should have counted them up before, so then he'd be able to give the points and stop this whole charade?
So you're making things more difficult for Sean, because by slagging off his hosting skills, you might lead yourself up into point deductions. That's the thing I'm thinking about.
Jack, for you hinting that I should take away points from Ronnie, that's going to be 5 off.
I thought that would backfire on me, but it was worth a shot.
47 plus 17 is 62. 27, 52... 60.
This should be around
wow, that was so close.
Oh, arithmetic.
Jack, you, for all the negative points, I took away 20 points from you in that last round.
Yeah.
And I apologise for it, but you finished on 62 in last place, unfortunately.
I can take 62 points, I'm proud of that.
In second place, 1 point separated you two. With Ronnie displaying that other accents are available, he has won by 1 point, and he won 68 to 67. I'm sorry, Nick. That is
fine.
Gutting.
Such an intense competition this week.
I tried to.
I was ruled out at Funny because it's true.
And there was
back there, Ronnie.
well, that's the end of the show. We have been Talk of the Devil, the Lancaster University Comedy Institute's weekly comedy panel show. Tune in next week at 1, where we'll be on again. Can I say thank you to Henry Banks, Liam Fielder, Michael Donalds and Daniel Whitten, who helped me write the Funny 'Cause It's True stories. Can I say thank you yet again to my 3 panellists, Jack Marshall,
hey.
Nick Woods, and unfortunately Ronnie Balmer wins.
Nobody likes it when Ronnie wins.
Woo, Ronnie! Okay, so that'll be the end of the show. Jack, that is so true. And
it's funny too.
And funny. Goodbye.
It's funny because it's true, you might say.